you're a fucking nerd like me growing up, you probably had to watch a lot of educational programming. Especially if your mom lied to you and told you that the Power Rangers channel was one we didn't get. Fuck you, bitch, I looked it up, I know that shit's network TV. But even when the other kids in the schoolyard talk shit, little did they know I was watching one of the most hardcore shows on television.
Seatbelts, everyone!
Yeah, that's right, baby. Magic School Bus. And this show did not fuck around. In every single episode, there are elementary school students in peril. You can't even learn about science in this universe without almost fucking dying. That's how you know it's a good show. And unlike the Power Rangers, who had pussy-ass swords and robot mechazoids to protect themselves, these kids had absolutely nothing. They'd look death in the face and say, "That's the frizz!" But one of these kids was so extreme, he gave a whole generation of kids nightmares. Whoa, what the fuck? This dork? The kid who gets bullied in the first 15 seconds of the theme song?
Let this be a normal field trip? With a friend? No way!
But to truly understand Arnold as a character, you have to go all the way back to the first episode. Back then, he was a pretty normal kid. He just happened to have a wizard as an elementary school teacher and went on death-defying field trips all the time. And he was game for it. I mean, you can see that he had some enthusiasm back then. But that all changed with Janet. Ugh. Janet. Out of the goodness of his heart, Arnold invited his cousin to see how cool their school was. You know, maybe take her on one of those magical field trips. But this ungrateful bitch.
I got straight A's on all my tests, and this proves it.
If you already know so much, Janet, why did you come to visit our class?
Because Arnold told me all about your field trips, Dorothy Ann.
What did he say?
That they were, and I quote, highly unusual. And you know what I said? Prove it.
Ugh, who does this? Oh, you're inviting me to visit your school? Let me make sure to bring my report card. Yeah, that's right, I got an A in chew. Read it and weep, bitch. But Arnold is undeterred. Even when Janet's talking mad shit because the planetarium they go to is closed, Arnold's not taking it. Look at his face. That is a man at the end of his rope who'll do anything just to get that bitch to shut up.
Nobody is better than Ms. Frizzle.
Oh, yeah?
Prove it. Stop the bus!
The subtle cinematography tells you, this kid's got balls. So what does he do? Marches straight up to Miss Frizzle and says, "Bitch, you better take this bus to space." And Miss Frizzle's like, okay, very interesting idea, Arnold. Fuck it! Throws a switch and just launches out of there. But that was before 9/11, so you could get away with that type of thing back then. So pretty cool, right, Janet? Turns out your nerdy cousin's in contact with a divine entity who's capable of violating the laws of physics and the FAA. But no, even that's not enough.
When I tell my class, they're gonna be so jealous.
Janet, you are witnessing sights no mortal eyes have ever peered upon, and you're more worried about the approval of fourth graders? The vanity of man is boundless as the deepest ocean, and hungrier than the void of space. May God forgive us for spitting ceaselessly upon his creation. Her hubris extends so far she thinks herself capable of dominating kids who spend their entire schooling career aboard a magic school bus. Luckily, she gets utterly blown the fuck up by Carlos, though.
I tell my class I won the jumping contest on Mercury, too. But you know what they're gonna say?
What?
Prove it.
At this point, it's obvious that Janet becomes a metaphor for the shortcomings of the empirical mindset and the crimes of Western imperialism as she ceaselessly plunders all the planets she encounters. Scientific knowledge becomes nothing but the pretext for exploitation, and she even enlists her family to be the unpaid labor of her enterprise. Since Arnold is obviously ripped, on Venus he's able to help schlep rocks with her, and then on Mars he gets turned into a goddamn coolie so he can collect some red dust. But that's the last you're gonna see of Arnold playing nice, cause shit comes to a head after this. While traveling through an asteroid belt, Janet decides that bitches be shopping and pulls the emergency brake so she can get a rock of her own. Within 2 seconds, the bus is disabled from an asteroid strike, and in case that's not bad enough, she almost crushes Miss Frizzle with another asteroid, sending her hurtling into deep space. So yeah, Janet just killed everyone. Thanks for watching. But wait, you think Arnold's gonna take that shit? Nah, he holds that bitch down. Since Arnold's got his nerd rage activated, he's able to hold her down long enough for them to get to Pluto, which takes about 10 minutes, even though it should probably take like 40 years. I don't know. You shouldn't really learn anything from the show, even though it's on an educational channel and is aimed specifically at science education. So you'd think that by finding Miss Frizzle and having a way back to Earth, Janet would have learned her lesson, right? Nope, she's back on her bullshit. Gotta get some of those Pluto rocks. And at this point, even the bus can't handle her shit. And he's like, nope, you're staying behind. I can't even take off with all that. Let me just take a moment right now and ask you. Now that I've already told you Arnold is the most hardcore character in the history of television, how do you think he handles this situation? Does he slap his cousin around a little bit? Does he say some swears? Oh, fuck no. Oh, not at all, dude.
There's no way I'm going home without my stuff.
There's no way I'm going home without you.
It's proof. Nobody will believe me without it.
I'll believe you. They'll believe you.
Janet, you want proof? I'll give you proof. Here's proof of what'll happen to you if you stay here with your stuff. Arnold, no!
Arnold! This is a children's television show! Why the fuck are you committing suicide? Holy shit. Oh my god. Let's just go back and watch that. Look at his fucking face. Not even for half a second is there a flinch of regret as his head freezes into a crystal in the abyss of space. He is going to his grave knowing he spent the last 2 seconds of his life achieving a petty victory over his cousin. That his contemptuous smirk will forever be etched into her brain and will visit her at night when she finally thinks she's rid herself of the trauma. If that is not the most brutal thing you've ever seen on television, what the fuck are you watching? And what makes this even more wild is this is the very first episode of the series. That means this was the episode some executive pitched at PBS like, hey, kids will love this, right? Yeah, I mean, great animation. I love the characters. Very educational, but does there have to be a suicide attempt at the end? We keep the suicide or I'm fucking walking. So yeah, in light of that, the rest of the series is pretty fucked up with how they treat Arnold. They're always making fun of him for, oh, I should have stayed home, but yeah, he's probably just worried he's gonna have to fucking kill himself again.